Welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Excited to be with you. Excited to share the news with you. And folks, you don't hate the mainstream media enough. I'm serious about this. You don't. And I'm going to show you today a few stories on exactly why I say that. But do me a favor, smash that like, do chat in with where you're from, just to help to get this stream rolling. And I just got my notification, so you all should be getting yours too. But some of you tell me you don't. So one of the ways you can solve that is I do have a locals channel. If it's in the description below, you don't have to support me over there. You can do whatever you want with that. But the point is, you enter your email, and then I can send out notifications via email through a different system. So if you're concerned because you're not getting your notifications, that's one way to solve that. Just wanted to share that with you. But you guys have heard this story, I'm sure, about Boulder, Colorado. How many are familiar with the Boulder, Colorado story? The guy lobbing Molotov cocktails at people standing up for Israeli hostages. Eric, 2506, good to see you on the stream. Do need to mention my sponsor quick, folks. That's Birch Gold, okay? Look, there's a lot of great things going on. You know, I cover wins all the time on this channel because I love winning and I love most of what Trump is doing. But you know, he's trying to move mountains at the speed of light here, and the courts are constantly standing in his way. We're going to cover that a little bit on this show, but thousands of Americans are buying Birch Gold right now. 12 months, in the past 12 months, folks, gold has increased 30%. Central banks are buying gold in record quantities. Watch what the smart money does and then do the same. The real reset is on the horizon. BRICS nations are joining together looking to unseat the dollar. And Birch Gold makes it extremely easy to convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Physical gold, folks. So text Lumberjack to 989-898. Again, that's Lumberjack to 989-898 to get your free info kit on gold and silver. All right, folks. So here, let's get right into this news. Oh, by the way, just so you know, too, today is the start of Mike Lindell's trial out in Colorado. Just keep your eyes on that. It's going to be a big one. I am going to do an expose on the guy suing Mike, okay? And it will blow your ever-loving mind. Good day, Stephanie. Good to see you on. Yurik, good to see you on. It is absolutely one of the wildest stories you are going to hear. Just to give you just a little tip, the guy literally I've leading his ex-wife around on a leash, calling her a bad puppy. Yes, it's pretty nutso stuff, okay? It's even worse. I've got even worse, okay? It's just wild. This is the guy suing him. All right, okay, so Deborah from Colorado, I'm sure you've heard about this, but the Boulder terrorist, okay, we have been told by MSNBC News, I've got the report here, that he is a white male. How many of you guys know what this guy's nationality is and his immigration status or non-immigration? Is he a white male United States citizen? Is he? How many of you guys are familiar with what's going on out there? The MSNBC Boulder attack. Okay, a bunch of you are getting this. Yeah, he's an Egyptian illegal immigrant. And MSNBC was reporting him as a white male. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. If this individual was, let's just say he was black, just for instance, okay? Would they have reported him as a black male? Just yes or no in the chat. I mean, would they have reported him that way? Would he have been a black male? Or what if it was a woman? What if it was a Oriental lady? Would they have reported that? So MSNBC reports him as a white male because you know how they love white men. And he's a Muslim immigrant. Now, it was interesting at the time because when the story dropped, I just happened to scroll through X at that point and saw that the story had come out on this. And I was like, oh man, this must have been a Muslim dude. I mean, they're attacking people standing up for Jewish hostages, right? There's to bring awareness to that. It was a peaceful march trying to bring awareness to Jewish hostages. And I mean, you're just not thinking like a white male. But then I thought for a second, and let me just say something here. I thought, well, it could be a white male. And here's why. Like, I am literally looking at people that I know who are blaming everything on the Jews right now. Have you guys seen this disturbing trend? How many of you have seen this disturbing trend where it's all about the Jews? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, do these people even remember the Holocaust? I mean, it's just, and what the problem was with blaming everything on Jewish people? I mean, I don't get it. I'm not going to get it. I never will get it. I mean, Monica says, where did this Jew hatred come from? I don't know. Like, this has just been gone on since time immemorial. What is it with everybody scapegoating on the Jewish people? Now, what's interesting is they'll say, oh, the Jews control Hollywood, the Jews this, the Jews that, the Jews. Okay? And it's like, okay, so you have a group of people, and you see this, right? So Asian people typically have higher IQs. Did you know that? Asian people have higher IQs. Can I say that? Can I say that with my audience? I mean, I'm just talking in general, okay? It's just a reality. I don't know if that's so now. There's a lot of people, like I buy my camera equipment. I you folks know that I'm a photographer, videographer, and I've done a lot of different projects. And the big camera outfits in New York that I get my cameras from are B&H or Adorama. Okay. And they're Jewish owned businesses. You can't even order from them on Saturday. Okay. Great. They built big businesses. Maybe as a culture, they have stronger business minds. Is that a possibility? Yes or no in the chat. What do you guys think? I mean, is it just possible that these people, for whatever reason, as their culture, have a stronger business mind? Okay. I mean, I just, this is nuts. Oh, here. Look at this. There, that was playing in the background. But yeah, he is a, he's from Egypt. Hold on a sec. I lost my, oh, there, here we go. I'm going to bring it back up. Because when that went out, the other went out. Okay, so here, I'm going to give you the information on this guy. He's not only an illegal alien, folks. He entered the U.S. in 2022 under Joe Biden and overstayed his visa. He entered the U.S. in 2022 under Joe Biden and overstayed his visa. Don't we just love these illegal aliens? Don't you want more of them here? A deranged man screaming anti-Jewish epithets attacked Jewish families, including children, in Boulder, Colorado on Sunday. I think I just saw a really disturbing comment. I'm going back up. Okay. Where was it? I think somebody commented, they've been run out of all these countries. There has to be a reason for it. That is the most disturbing bunch of nonsense I've seen in a comment in a long time. I mean, seriously. A deranged man screaming anti-Jewish epithets attacked Jewish families, including children, in Boulder, Colorado on Sunday. A suspect was brought into custody after an attack on a pro-Israel demonstration in Boulder, Colorado. Colorado police are responding to what they call an attack at Boulder's Pearl Street Mall that left multiple people injured. Authorities said the violent incident happened at the 13th Street and Pearl Street on Sunday afternoon. Police asked everyone to avoid the area while first responders went to work the scene. Now, I've seen two reports on this, okay? One said that 4 men and 4 women were injured. Some say that kids were caught on fire because he was throwing Molotov cocktails, okay? The attacker was identified as Mohammed Salman. Mohammed Salman. Totally sounds like a white male. Several children were injured in the planned attack. Bill Mulligan from Fox News reported this evening that Mohammed Salman is an illegal immigrant, and he came here in 2022 during the Biden regime and overstayed his visa and never left. Okay? And that was from 3 senior DHS officials told Bill Mulligan that. He's from Fox News. Okay? I'm told Mohammed Sabri arrived at LAX on August 27th of 2022 on a B1, B2 non-immigrant visa. Okay? So that's who he is, but the mainstream media told us he was something different. But here, I'm going to give you some good news. In fact, I'm going to give you some great news. Okay? Listen to this. Jake Tapper's ratings plunged to their lowest level in 10 years. Okay, we got an idiot in the chat, so we're going to just watch this. Boom! I have this ability. He's gone, folks. He's gone. Okay, LOL. Fake Jake Tapper's ratings plunged to their lowest levels in 10 years. I actually know Jake Tapper's real defense for covering up Biden's dementia. If he were being honest, which he never is, he'd say, look, my audience consists entirely of Trump deranged liberals. Oh, you beat me to it, Steph? You got him out of there? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just doing the work here. I saw this guy. Thank you so much for that. I love the fact of my mouth. Anytime, look, I love free speech, but if I've got, this is a community, this isn't like, oh, wow, I have to let everybody in the world comment. And furthermore, if somebody's just going to spam the chat, and I'm not letting people just spam the chat, okay? It's ridiculous. I mean, they're just doing it to be idiots, okay? If he were being honest, which he never is, he'd look and he'd say, my audience consists entirely of Trump deranged liberals. I cannot report the truth without losing my entire career. CNN wouldn't even allow it. If I reported any of this before 2024, CNN would have had a talk with me with the threat of suspension made clear. I'm showing bravery, that's by Jake Tapper standards at least, by just reporting a slim slice of the truth 5 years after it was obvious to all non-Trump deranged liberals. So Jake Tapper's Trump deranged audience, the only audience remaining after 10 years of grotesque left-wing propaganda from Jake Tapper and his fellow communists at CNN, is abandoning him. And I am, as a 42-year-old, millennials on Twitter say, here for it. CNN host Jake Tapper had his lowest rated month in nearly a decade in May, despite whirlwind publicity tour giving him an onslaught of attention. Tapper and Axios reporter Alex Thompson's new book, Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again, was released in May to much fanfare. The book helped set the recent news cycle with new accusations of the Biden White House hiding the truth from the former president's fitness for office. To promote the project, Tapper has embarked on a wide-ranging book tour that landed him on a variety of podcasts, talk shows, and cable news. The book has also been promoted relentlessly across CNN, but the spotlight on Tapper has seemingly failed to give him the boost in viewership. The Lead with Jake Tapper averaged 525,000 total viewers from April 28th through May 25th, shedding 25% of CNN's audience in its time slot from the same period last year in the process. By comparison, Fox News' The Five and Special Report with Bret Baier averaged 3.3 million viewers from April 28th through May 25th. trouncing Tapper. Now, guys, I'm not like, Fox News is it. You guys know that, and a lot of you in my audience are not. We've reported plenty on the downfall of Fox News and some of their crappy reporting. But for mainstream media viewers, if I had to choose between watching Jake Tapper and Greg Gutfeld, well, watch Greg. Agent Orange, good to see you on. MSNBC also beat Tapper among total viewers, as programming on the Progressive Network averaged a little over 1 million viewers in the time slot. As a result, Tapper settled for only 11% of the cable news audience share, while MSNBC managed 21% and Fox News commanded 68% during that time frame. Meaning, folks, if you take Tapper and MSNBC, add them up, you get 32%, and Fox News was commanding 68% during that time frame, meaning it was over twice as much as MSNBC and Tapper at CNN put together. It was Tapper's lowest rated month since August of 2015. It also thrills me to say that MSNBC's ratings are collapsing. And bear in mind that that Comcast, folks, is trying to sell MSNBC right now. This is the worst time for MSNBC to see its ratings collapse. So what do you have here? MSNBC hit record lows, dropping 41% among primetime viewers, according to Mediaite. The network's ratings dropped a total of 34% compared to May 2024. MSNBC averaged 49,000 viewers during the day and 78,000 primetime viewers, marking its second worst month in history, Adweek reported. Folks, I want you to think about something. To tell you just how much we're winning, I want you to think about this. MSNBC and CNN completely losing to Fox News in epic fashion. And how many of you watch these, even Fox News? How many of you still watch Fox News? Just a serious question. I want to do an audience poll here. And please just answer 100%. Yes or no, you watch Fox News. Watch this in the chat as you comment. How many of you seriously watch? Okay, so Agent Orange, no. Tim, no, never, no. Yes, there's one. No, no. Okay, seriously, pay attention to this, folks. Yes, there's two. Hate Fox, no. Don't watch TV at all, occasionally. So, there we go, one. And there's another that says yes. Okay, Mike Lindell said it straight on Fox News. That's right, yes. Yes. I'm not even at 10 yet, folks. And look at all the no's. Yes. I'm at 7, 8, 9. There's got to be one more for 10. Look at this, folks. No TV at all. Look at you people. Okay, so now. Okay, so I got one more. All right, so we got 10. Out of all those people, and I'll look at all the no's, we are literally. Okay, so here's the point I'm trying to make. Hopefully you guys get the point I'm trying to make here. You guys aren't even watching it. Okay? Wow, save $250 a month by dropping cable. Exactly. I haven't had cable TV ever in my life. Never once. We have Neil and a couple others on YouTube. Exactly. Here's the point. Who controls the podcast space? Is it left-wingers or people on the right? Okay? Seriously. You look at the podcast sphere or talk radio, is it right or left that controls the bulk of it? Okay? Some of you are getting it, Stephanie. Yeah, it's the right. The right. You look at the podcast and talk radio sphere, and it is dominated by right-wing commentators. Why? Because, I'm sorry, but we're actually funny. I mean, have you ever seen the left try to do comedy? I mean, what an absolute failure. Did you ever watch Jimmy Kimmel or some of these guys try to do comedy? Okay, because I watched them because Mike Lindell would always go on with Jimmy Kimmel. He looked like a complete moron. I'm talking about Jimmy, a hate-filled moron. Okay? So, The only thing now, there's still a lot of people who get their news from network, meaning ABC, NBC, CBS. Okay. So ABC, NBC, CBS, still a lot of people getting their news from that. But in the cable news, it's not even close anymore. So now what they've done, this is why everything has been hijacked by the left. In fact, I just had this great thought. While I'm sitting here podcasting with you, I just figured something out. The reason why, oh man, I tell you, my ribs are still sore. The reason you're still getting hit by wokeism on sports is because people still watch sports. The reason the woke mind virus has to infect everything else right now, that's why politics has infected everything, is because nobody's paying attention to their news. Dude, what do you think? Do you think I'm right? I just came up with this thought. The reason the woke mind virus, the left, is infusing their content into everything else is simply because nobody's watching their fake news anymore. I think that's what's going on. What do you think? Am I right? Okay, so, but they're losing. They're losing. This is why, for the first time in the history of polling, more Americans, the majority of Americans, believe that the country is on the right track. Yeah. That's actually taking place. So that's what's going on. Now I'm going to go on to some other things. How many of you saw Cory Booker's Nazi salute? Wait. Okay. How many mainstream media outlets covered this? Now, remember, they tried to run this whole thing about Elon Musk. Thank you so much, Michelle. Yeah, please go check out mypillow.com/lumberjack or call 1-800-586-2865. I always use the 800 number, folks, to order. I always just talk to people. Now, I'm not 586, it's 568. I am so sorry. 1-800-568-2865. 1-800-568-2865. Mike Lindell needs your help. Trial starts today in Colorado. I'm going to try and get out there next week, at least for a day or two. Okay. But what mainstream outlets have covered the Cory Booker Nazi salute? Did the New York Times cover it? They covered Elon Musk. This isn't a salute. They're literally just tapping their. Cory Booker didn't salute. Elon Musk didn't salute. I'm mocking them. Okay. Did the New York Times cover it? Did CNN cover it? Did the Washington Post? Did MSNBC? What about NPR? What about USA Today? Reuters? Axios? ABC News? CBS? Any of them? Any of them? No, totally silent on it. This is why I say you can't hate the mainstream media enough. And they're still influencing minds. Listen to this. From NBC5 out of Chicago, it says, 8 hurt when man in Colorado hurls flamethrower at group supporting Israeli hostages. What we know. Now, I want you to just pay attention to this headline. 8 hurt when man in Colorado hurls flamethrower at group supporting Israeli hostages. What we know. So what's missing in that headline? What is missing in that headline? What would it read if it was me? If it was me, what would this headline read? Seriously, folks, what would the headline read? Here's what it reads again. And I'm going to show you something else really important in this article. 8 hurt when man in Colorado hurls flamethrower at group supporting Israeli hostages. What we know. Yeah, no mention that he's an illegal alien. No, if it was me, it would say white man in Colorado. I'm telling you, 100%. No, wait. It would get better. This is what I would say. Can you imagine if it was me? Just, guys, start coming up with headlines. If this was me who did this in Colorado, come up with headlines and put them in the chat. What do you think they'd be? I'm going to give you mine. Now, I had a friend who ran for the United States Senate here in Minnesota. And when he ran. He ended up losing in the primary to Rudy Boschwitz, who was our senator. Anyways, he said, it said, the musket-toting, gay-hating, venom-spewing hairdresser from Stillwater, Minnesota, because he owned a hair salon. But it was the liberal-hating, venom-spewing, musket-toting, gay-bashing hairdresser from Stillwater, Minnesota. That's what it said about him. So let me see what some of them are. Crazy white man goes berserk in Colorado. Lumberjack terror. Extreme white man attacks with dragon flamethrower. I love this. I knew you guys would come up with some good stuff. It would probably say something like, a mega Trump supporting white conservative goes nuts, a gun nut from Minnesota, something. It would say something like this. Trump supporter, white, liberal, hating Trump supporter. It's just, so that's the headline. But now look at this. I'm gonna just show you something here quick. I'm gonna pull this off my computer. I'm just reading an article. Okay. So let me just show you. This is the article. Okay. So watch me scroll. I'm gonna go to where okay. We finally get to the point now here in the article, down towards the bottom where people don't often get to. And then it says, oh, wow, it's even further down. There was a man and a weapon, people being set on fire. Oh, it doesn't even mention him yet. Way down at the bottom of this article, see, they just talk, according to officials, 45-year-old suspect was taken into custody. They don't mention, there he is finally, the suspect, Mohammed Sabri Soleimani, 45, was booked in the Boulder County Jail, first-degree murder. Okay, 2 senior law enforcement sources identified Solomon as an Egyptian national. That's all they say towards the bottom of the article about the guy. It's nuts. It's just so retarded. But you guys want to hear something really great? So my daughter Sarah, we don't go to Target. We don't go to Target. Why? Because they've just been full of woke nonsense, right? But she needed to pick something up, and and Target was right there. And so she said she ran into Target, and she told me, she said she is like 16, terribly politically astute. And she said, Daddy, she said, I just had to run and get something quick. And I determined, because it was June, it was yesterday. She said, if they had these goofy pride displays, I was just turning around and walking out. And do you know what greeted her instead of pride displays? In Target. Over the past 20 years, they have been one of the most woke, nonsensical corporations of all time. But do you know what greeted her in Target? Was it rainbows and pride merchandise? What do you think greeted her when she went in the door? I'm really serious if you guys know what happened. This is winning. Okay? I mean, this is like winning on a big scale. Okay? I see a lot of your negative comments on Target, and I love it. But that it isn't what she saw. Exactly. Ben de Latard. Patriotic merchandise. The American flag. Look at this, folks. I'm going to show you this. This isn't her picture, but this is somebody else's. So this is Target June 1st, 2024, and then 2025. Look at the difference. Okay, I am going to do my favorite video as an upload today. Be watching for it, because it's going to be straight freaking fire. I've got a Karen in a Target store, and it is the best video I have seen all month. Okay. She is cataclysmic about what's going on in Target. Now, another thing, just so you know, this didn't get enough attention, but the Supreme Court, this was last week, had sided with Trump regarding removal of the NLRB, that's National Relations Board, and MSPB members, and suggests that the Federal Reserve is different. So this was a thing that just took place at the Supreme Court this last week. And I don't know how many of you saw this. So there, Judge Barry Howell out of D.C. had ordered that Trump needed to reinstate Gwen Wilcox of the NLRB and Kathy Harris to the Merit Systems Protection Board, or MSPB. The Trump administration's appeal of Judge Howell's ruling is currently before the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. The Supreme Court's stay allows President Trump's removal of Wilcox to stand pending the appeals decision. But here's what's going to happen, folks. The Supreme Court will rule on this eventually if the appeals court doesn't rule correctly. This will change everything. It will be absolutely one of the biggest rulings, because what's going to happen is it ends the lawfare. Trump will be able to act like the executive branch allows him to act, which is to fire people. And they're not going to have any recourse in the courts. This is one of the biggest cases. You know, we've got all this goofy stuff going on with immigration, but this is a big one, because he needs to be able to gut this administrative state. I think you all understand that. So this is a big one. The other thing, there are 5. I found something in the Hill. I'm not a big fan of the Hill, but this is interesting. It said Senate rankings, the 5 seats most likely to flip. They do have the this right. So Georgia, this would be a pickup for Republicans. John Ossoff is considered the most vulnerable Democrat on the Senate map, and Republicans have been eagerly awaiting the chance to win back the seat. Now, if you remember, Ossoff won in that fake election, okay? Brian Kemp said he wouldn't run, which is great. I don't want Brian Kemp in there, okay? And Marjorie Taylor Greene, she said she's out. But Mike Collins and Buddy Carter look like they're going to compete in the primary, okay? Doug Collins, Kelly Loeffler, there's been rumors about them, but this would be a huge pickup, okay? North Carolina. Now, if the Democrats win, guess who they would defeat in North Carolina? Tom Tillis. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tom Tillis wouldn't be much of a loss after he wouldn't even support Ed Martin for United States District of Columbia U.S. Attorney. But nonetheless, and here's what we always get into. Are you better off with a rhino or a Democrat? And it's frustrating, because at times we all have mixed feelings on this, right? But the time to get Tom Tillis out is in the primary. If you're in North Carolina, commit to primarying Tom Tillis. And here's what I'm going to tell you. If Tom Tillis wins, hold your nose and vote for him, because we need a majority so we control the chairs of the committees. Okay? It's frustrating. Everybody talks about, well, the Republican Party needs to lose so they understand. And I get that, but then who loses in the process? Who loses in the process? Hey, Dave Delgado just bought me a cup of coffee. Dave, thank you for that super chat. Cooper, apparently, Roy Cooper, they're trying to figure out, but it looks like he may be running against Tillis. Willie Nickel, who is a former representative for North Carolina, has announced a bid. So we need to primary Tillis, who is just pathetic, okay? Does anyone want to face off with Susan Collins of Maine next year? That's the question on the minds of top politicos as Democrats struggle to find a viable candidate against a Maine centrist after the party failed spectacularly to defeat her in 2020, leaving them burned in the New England state heading into next year. And it's true, they got trounced. I'm not a fan of Susan Collins. It's Maine. I don't know. Their governor is is that a he or a she? I don't even know. So what are you going to get out of Maine? Are we going to get a real firebrand conservative out of Maine? Does anybody think that's going to happen? So I guess if you're in Maine, you get to vote for Susan Collins. But the Democrats think they can beat her. They're not going to. Okay. There's hardly any donor interest. I don't know why they put this up as a competitive seat. Okay. So, but Susan Collins of Maine. Michigan. It's not even halfway through the off year, and Michigan Democrat primary is already the leader in the clubhouse to become the most contentious of the 2026 cycle, as a trio of key players look to succeed retiring Senator Gary Peters of Michigan. Now, a lot of this will hinge on Mike's case in Colorado. So please do support him. There is a spot on that Lumberjack page. If you go to mypillow.com/lumberjack, you can support the legal effort directly. There's a tile on that page about midway down, right in the middle of the page. If you want to support the legal effort, you can also support the legal effort because Mike still needs to, run his business. So one of the ways you can support is, just buying some products. And he's got the sheets for $49.98, the Giza sheets, the best sheets known to man, any color, any size. Also the Rev 7 energy drink and so on. So it's all there. But Michigan, that's another big one. So New Hampshire, this is the last one, is considered a must-win state for Democrats in 2026. And they are breathing easy despite Senator Jeanne Shaheen's retirement, as Chris Pappas' presence gives the party a top-tier candidate. So one of the things that Hill always does is they always talk about these top-tier candidates. And I want to just address something really quickly. A lot of you get really excited about certain candidates. Okay? They say the right things, but they don't know how to run a campaign. So please hear me on this, because I'm not a Rhino fan. But whatever we do in the primaries, we have to actually find candidates who can win. I'm not talking about electability in the sense of the mainstream media's term of electability. I hope you're all catching me on this. Please type affirmative yes in the chat if you're getting what I'm saying. But do you remember during the Tea Party Revolution, we got a bunch of these, there were a bunch of Senate seats that we should have won. There were a bunch of Senate seats that we should have won. We lost them because our candidates sucked. Okay. And at times I wonder if we don't get these candidates in there who just say the right things, but can't win. And they're not just plants by some other apparatus that wants us to get fired up about candidates that are going to lose. So what I'm looking for is true conservative candidates who can actually win. So, and that takes a lot of money. Takes a lot of money. A Senate seat right now. I mean, here? In fact, I want to look this up. What is the average cost to run a U.S. Senate campaign? We're generating an answer here. Winning campaigns, on average, a successful Senate campaign cost $26.53 million in 2022. That's insane. The median amount of money raised by a sitting U.S. senator seeking re-election in 2024 was $11.1 million. That's now what that's not telling us is the most competitive campaigns are well over $100 million. So hopefully we can get some good candidates. Okay. And the reality is it shouldn't cost this much. It shouldn't cost that much, but it does. Okay. And I think what we need to do is, get new campaign finance laws. I would love it actually if we just, and this is not, I'm a free market guy. And if you're going to allow, how am I trying to say this? I understand outside groups wanting to support certain candidates and sometimes good outside groups. Example would be like a gun rights group wanting to support a certain candidate and then run ads. But I think that can be done in other ways by people like me just covering the news about these people. Somehow there has to be a way to get some of this money out of politics, or we're going to be in this cycle forever. And it keeps some very good people from running. So, yeah, I don't know. More thoughts on that. I haven't thought out the solution, but I just wanted to get that news out this morning, mainly about the mainstream media and what they're up to, and also about Trump in the courts and so on. Again, please support Mike Lindell. Please, Birch Gold. Text Lumberjack to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold or silver. You can buy both. You can buy a physical. You can convert an IRA. You can do whatever you want. You make your own investing decisions. But gold was made legal tender now in the state of Florida, precious metals. So anyhow, keep fighting the good fight. Okay. You guys are great. And, oh, wow. Look at this. I didn't even miss this. V-Ron, your long-term support of Mike Lindell is gratifying and very generous of you. Yeah. If you're supporting Mike Lindell, it's great. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to try and get out there next week. I'm going to look at flights today. I think it's just going to be fairly expensive to get out there. So anyhow, keep fighting the good fight, folks. Love y'all. Okay. Peace out.